Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new spoiler review of Peacemaker. Today came out episode 4 after the first 3 episodes debuted last Thursday. Now they are weekly for the rest of the series. Welcome back to Max Talks Movies. We're talking Peacemaker, episode 4 spoilers. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and ring the 4 notifications. You're tuned in every time you hit that notification bell. You'll know every single time a new video is posted. So please subscribe and ring that bell. Also, please comment down below your thoughts. Spoiler fashion of the Peacemaker show. Where do you think the show is headed? Are you loving it right now? Or are you not liking it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Please like the video. The thumbs up button, thumbs up. Please support this channel. Let's talk spoilers. So this picks up at the end of episode 3, where it was my favorite episode, still is, of the series, where Peacemaker, basically we get to finally discover the butterflies. Now, last week was a bit tougher because I couldn't really break down episode by episode because that would take a long time. It's 3 episodes. So we're going to break down this episode and let's do it. So again, we picked off right away. So Peacemaker and Vigilante. So Vigilante obviously is coming from the consequences of killing 3 of the 4 butterflies. Peacemaker says that he killed the butterfly that we saw at the end. Obviously, that was not true because he kept that butterfly in a jar. So he is obviously lying to them, and Peacemaker clearly does not trust the team, which ends up to being very true because then he discovers that in episode, I think it was 1 or 2, Economos actually put DNA-wise and fingerprinting that Robert Patrick, who plays, Augie Smith, Chris's dad, as the person who killed the woman at the end of episode 1. So he's in prison. Peacemaker finally realizes this. This is one of the bigger storylines of the episode. Peacemaker wants to go, and he is with Vigilante now, not in costume, who, by the way, has become my favorite part of the show. Freddie Stroma, who's an actor not familiar with really that much. I know he has credits in Pitch Perfect 1 and 2 Harry Potter films. So that is really interesting. Also Game of Thrones. So he has a lot of credits. He was in Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2 and Half-Blood Prince. So I can't really tell you who he was in, but Freddie Stroma is an actor who is absolutely fantastic in this show. And this really is, for the most part, Vigilante's episode. I know it's Peacemaker's main character, but this is Vigilante has a lot to do this episode. He's obviously making hilarious jokes about how the person basically cut half his pinky toe off. That was really, really funny stuff. The fact that he's not in costume makes it funny, and his passive aggressive conversation with Chris was hilarious. We were saying, thanks for letting me get tortured. I thought that whole conversation might have been the funniest part of the whole episode. A second really funny. So I'll get to my funniest part with him in a second. He's having this banter with Peacemaker. He wants to drop him off at Chris wants to go to his dad's house to get the helmets. Takes all the helmets, and then his neighbor, who he goes into battle with, in a hilarious conversation between Peacemaker and his neighbor, where he basically says to them that Batman doesn't kill anyone, but he sacrifices a lot of people because he puts them in prison. They come out, they kill more people. And I like that conversation was actually really good and shows one, I guess, the flaws of Batman. I thought it was a really cool conversation. But that old man, the neighbor, reveals that his dad is in prison, which then pisses him off. He calls Mern, and Mern, and Chris is pissed off. So Chris wants to go to jail to visit him, and Mern sends Adebayo to try to calm down Chris. Like, you're the only person that he trusts. So they have the conversation about how horrible of a person he is, but Chris is like, he's family, so I'm going to go talk to him. As this is happening, Adebayo talks to Vigilante, and that whole funny joke of him trying to lie that he's not Vigilante. Obviously, he sounds like Vigilante. But Adebayo and Vigilante have the talk, which basically inspires Vigilante to go to prison to kill Chris's dad. She basically implied that it would have been great if he's just out of the picture, basically. So he does a hilarious bit where he throws the trash can against the window. The police people, the cops arrest him. He goes to prison and has the best scene of the whole episode, where he is basically talking to Robert Patrick's friends who are clearly, white supremacists, and talking about like saying what we are graceful or happy, or I forgot what the question was, but obviously involved what you're happy about that Black people have added to society, something like that. And it was hilarious. And then Vigilante beats up the 3 people, and right as he's about to fight Robert Patrick, the cops come lay him down, and the Vigilante says, "You're just a bad father," and that quickly knows that Robert Patrick quickly knows that his son set something up. He wants to talk to the detective because Peacemaker told everything to his father what happened. So Vigilante's released by prison. Hardcore picks him up. And the big blockbuster ending of the episode is we learn that Mern is a butterfly. It kind of felt like that the way that they made a whole bit out of it last week, how he doesn't do any type of emotion whatsoever. It was definitely hinting at it, but I didn't really cross my mind. But once he, dropped the phone from Adebayo, you could tell that he was about to do something, and he has the goo and does the butterfly thing. So Mern is a butterfly. The post-credit scene was just Peacemaker and Vigilante's extended bit about the duck the duck joke in Peacemaker's dad's lair. I thought that was hilarious, the post-credit scene. So overall, I'm just really enjoying. Also, we got some really emotional stuff about Peacemaker, how his brother, how he was forced into killing someone at a very early age. And then we end with him, we get the behind the scenes of his brother dying. And it was always said that his brother died and he was somewhat involved. It looks like it was a seizure of some kind. Something I can't really confirm it because it was very flashy with the flashbacks, but it was actually quite emotional. Definitely the deepest, most dramatic or emotional part of the show thus far. How Chris was basically just brought into this life from his awful dad, put into some terrible situations early in his life, and his brother died at a very young age. And that has set him on this path. And you can see how there's got to be some heart in him. It's tough to think about that. He's done some really bad things, but they're giving you backstory to feel bad for him and to understand where he's coming from. And I thought from a depth point of view, they really went deep into Peacemaker this episode, which was really fantastic. Definitely the most emotional I've been all time watching the show. So we are currently at the halfway mark of Peacemaker. This was the one, this episode, I don't believe was directed by Gunn. It says on IMDb it was, but based on the credit, I don't remember it saying Gunn was actually the director. It says he was the writer of all the episodes. But this was a great episode, especially for Vigilante and Peacemaker, and also Adebayo trying to prove herself that everyone's like, Waller pushed for you to be here. We don't know why you're here, but you need to prove why you're here. And Adebayo continues to improve. He shot the bodyguard for Judo Master. That was a really funny fight between Peacemaker and Judo Master. Was ending with Adebayo shooting him. Put her in. I liked having her react to how she would have reacted if she actually killed him. So the entire team is cool. Mern being a butterfly adds a lot now to the show. We'll see if that gets revealed very soon. And the question is, will Augie Smith, Robert Patrick's character, get to talk to the detective Song, who could to tell about the lies of what Economos did. So that should be very interesting and a really fun episode. I'm really loving this show. I love the Suicide Squad in this episode. For me was also excellent. So that's my thoughts on Peacemaker. I'll be here every Thursday, give you my spoiler breakdown of the next 4 episodes. We're at the halfway point of Peacemakers, 4 more weeks of this show. Can't wait to break it down to you here on Max Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below. I'll be back in Philadelphia for the next couple months after my last month here in LA. So after Friday, starting probably, if not the weekend, Monday, more videos should be coming out on the channel. So thanks for tuning into this video, and I'll see you guys soon.